You ask, what is the definition of free will versus choosing? How are willpower and free will different from each other? You suggest that if we align our will with the will of God, then only can one say that he is acting on the platform of free will. And then you present the formula: willpower plus choosing the right option equals leads to free will. What you are missing in this formulation is the teachings, the instructions, the specifics, which have to do with conscious intention. So here we are, on the verge of discovering a great secret, that our trips to Tibet and exotic places and gurus and searching, that spiritual hunger that has caused us for years to wander, leads ultimately to something that we have always had with us. And that is the very ordinary, taken for granted thing of attention. We are told, we are taught that the intentional use of attention, directed attention, aimed, purposeful, with an aim to be fulfilled. The first struggles to consciously seek to do something is what we have available to us, is what is possible. It is a sliver, a thread of possibility that we might muster the willpower to make use of our attention in a directed way. For instance, upon a moment in which negativity arises and we choose in that encounter between knowledge, conscious attention, reaction, mechanics, external stimulus, we choose the path of our behavior. In other words, in that moment we remember what we have learned. We remember our aim, what we seek. We remember that we can do this much. Choose for an intentional purpose how we will respond. These are the first moments of a new kind of conscious capacity, which little by little will lead us towards this idea of free will, because our days will be more and more broken up with these conscious remembrances and actions of our attention, of our awareness. And that is why we must enter the moment so completely and not be forever in a state of distraction, in a fog, wandering about aimlessly. That possibility we have of directed attention, intentional use of that mysterious but ordinary power of attentiveness is the key, is the method by which we enter into a new dimension. Because it is the way out of total mechanicalness, total stimulus response, total automatic behavior, familiar subconscious patterns, old habits. And so we are given that little bit of capacity to create that free will that is ours as children of the universe, that we should have. But we are brought up in a world that keeps us asleep in every way. Aggressively so. But what does it take to decide to focus one's attention in this way, with this combination of purpose, understanding, intention, knowledge, energy. We need the energy to do that. And that is when we discover to what extent we are constantly hemorrhaging the daily energy we have available. We are like broken pipes leaking water out into the yard, into the vegetable garden, flooding it with this life-giving force, blood, that we need so desperately for other purposes. And thus part of our work needs to be closing the tap, not being identified over every little thing, not getting negative, not wasting energy in imagination, not using up the little we have each day to make use of. So this kind of careful attention, valuation of our life force, of our energy, is fundamental to this inner work, to these esoteric teachings, to the spiritual path. And indeed, it all lines up from that choice to be attentive to this moment of irritation and not be pulled into it and lose a chunk of our existence to sleep, to identification, to toxicity. Remembering to give it this attention is the act of self-remembering. It's pulling ourselves back to a place that is not fully identified, fully hypnotized. Remembering our aim. And the more often we come back to this place, this centeredness, this inner sanctuary, this higher consciousness, the more we break through and begin to live there. There where free will exists, there where real I exists, there where consciousness of God is encountered. When we forget, when we fall asleep, when we slip away into fragmentation, forgetfulness, imagination, distraction, we are lost, we are washed away from that point of presence, of intention, of purpose, of aim, of new creation, rebirth. All of this is found in that simple gift of attention, of awareness. It is up to us to make right use of it in order to unlock all of the treasures that we think we have already or that we cannot imagine we could have. This is also purification, simplification, enabling us to know what we seek and how to seek it and what to do in this moment of now in order to live in communion with the greater life.